Hello and welcome. Today, we have a special story for you, Tom's first experience ordering food in Paris. If you are learning English, this story will help you practice useful phrases for ordering food while traveling. Let's begin. It's a beautiful evening in Paris. Tom is excited because today, he is going to try ordering food at a French restaurant for the first time. He's a little nervous since he's not fluent in French, but he's determined to enjoy the experience. As he walks with his friend Sarah to a small, cozy bistro, the streets of Paris look so charming. The buildings are beautifully lit up, and the air feels fresh. Sarah smiles and says, "Don't worry, I'll help you with the phrases." Tom takes a deep breath and feels a bit better. When they reach the restaurant, Sarah turns to the hostess and politely asks, "Good evening, do you have a table for two?" The hostess smiles and leads them to their seats. Tom sits down, feeling excited about the meal that's about to come. They are handed the menu, and Tom starts to look at the options. There are so many different dishes. He's unsure what to order. Sarah sees his hesitation and says, "You can ask the waiter for recommendations." It's a great way to learn about local dishes. Tom nods and takes a moment to review the menu again. "What would you recommend?" he asks the waiter in his best English. The waiter smiles and mentions a few popular French dishes, explaining them slowly. Tom listens carefully and decides to try the coq au vin, a chicken dish cooked in red wine. He feels proud of himself for ordering in English and is excited to taste something new. After Tom orders the main course, he begins to notice some unfamiliar terms on the menu. He sees words like vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free. He turns to Sarah and asks, "What does vegan mean?" Sarah explains that vegan dishes don't contain any animal products. Tom thinks this is interesting because he's always looking for healthy options. Then, he sees a dish with an ingredient he's not sure about. "Do you think this has peanuts?" he asks Sarah. She nods and says, "It's important to ask if you have allergies." You can ask the waiter, "Does this dish have peanuts?" Tom feels more confident now that he knows how to ask about food allergies. When the waiter returns, Tom takes a deep breath and asks, "Do you have any dishes without peanuts?" The waiter nods and suggests a dish that's safe for Tom to eat. He smiles and feels relieved. Tom is learning a lot about French food and the menu. He is also picking up useful phrases, like, "What do you recommend?" and "Do you have any dishes without ingredient?" He makes sure to practice these phrases in his mind. The waiter brings the food, and Tom is amazed at how beautiful it looks. The chicken, with its rich red wine sauce, smells delicious. Tom takes a bite and savors the flavor. It's even better than he imagined. "Wow, this is amazing," Tom says, smiling at Sarah. She laughs and says, "I told you it would be great." Tom feels proud of himself for navigating the menu and ordering confidently. As they continue enjoying their meal, Tom decides to ask for another recommendation. He looks at the waiter and asks, "What's your most popular dish?" The waiter smiles and suggests a seafood stew, explaining that it's a favorite among locals. Tom is intrigued, but decides to stick with his choice for now. "Maybe next time," he says. Sarah smiles, happy to see Tom becoming more comfortable with ordering in English. Tom continues to ask more questions. He's learning that it's okay to ask for help when traveling. In fact, asking questions helps him experience new things and practice his language skills. he also feels more connected to the culture of the place. Tom begins to feel like he's understanding more of the restaurant experience. He notices the other people in the restaurant, locals enjoying their meals, chatting with friends, and laughing together. He realizes that dining out isn't just about the food, it's about the experience and the people around you. Tom feels proud of how well he's done, ordering food and engaging with the staff. He knows that even though it's his first time in Paris, he's already learning so much about the culture, the food, and the language. He feels like he's part of something bigger. I'm starting to get the hang of this, Tom thinks, as he finishes his meal and gets ready to ask for the bill. The evening is almost over, and it's time to pay. Tom turns to Sarah and says, "I feel so proud of myself. I was able to ask for recommendations and order food in English." Sarah smiles and says, "You did great. Now, let's ask for the bill." Tom turns to the waiter and says, "Could we have the bill, please?" The waiter nods and brings it to the table. Tom takes a moment to check the bill and makes sure everything is correct. He knows that tipping is a part of the culture here, so he decides to leave a tip. "Thank you," he says, handing the waiter a bit extra for good service. The waiter smiles and thanks him. As Tom and Sarah leave the restaurant, Tom feels happy. "I did it," he says, smiling. "I ordered food in a foreign country, and it wasn't so hard after all." He feels more confident in his ability to communicate in English, and he's excited to continue his adventures. Tom looks forward to more experiences where he can practice his English, try new foods, and meet new people. As they walk back to their hotel, Tom feels proud of how far he's come. He knows that learning a new language takes time, but with every meal, he's getting better. And that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, practicing English in real situations, like ordering food at a restaurant, is a great way to improve your skills. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video for more English learning stories. See you next time.